Welcome. Welcome, everyone. I'm Angelo Robles, and welcome to this Saturday morning in late June. Occasionally, I like to do some lives on the weekend. It's always a pleasure. And this has been an incredibly active week for me with a little bit of travel. I recently came back from New York, where I hosted my first AI in person immersive family office masterclass. I'll talk a little bit about that more so towards the end, but I have something that I've been talking about for a while, but wanted to craft a concise and brief message on that basically is why best practices to me are often the enemy of exceptional families. So, why don't I give you some context from my perspective? I want audience interaction. I want active disagreement. It's not that I don't believe that best practices don't provide value. I think selectively they can, but I often think they're a crutch. And for something that is more opaque, like the family office community, specifically the single family office community, I think best practices can be, I'll go with the word overrated. So, why don't we begin? From my perspective, there's a devastating secret that the family office industry really they don't want you to know. Every single best practices that they're selling you, it's not necessarily that they're trying to deceive you, but effectively, it is designed by its very nature to kind of keep you average. So, for those popping on, I'm Angelo Robles. And really, since I sold Family Office Association and over the last couple of years, I've been focused on my work in my membership community and consulting and having known and helped lots of family offices around the world. So I believe you could better enhance and increase investment returns and really overall performance using less best practices, more first principles thinking. Reduce the time, often from months to hours, with, of course, AI and customized AI agents and governance systems. Really, families, true family offices, can create structural monopolies that their peers won't be able to replicate. But in terms of what really matters, while you're watching this, there are family offices. And even if you're an advisor or provider, this effectively applies to you, although likely your industries are not quite as opaque. But they're making the same expensive mistakes over and over. What I often hear from family offices is kind of copying the what I call the Rockefeller playbook, literally, and wondering why it doesn't work for their unique family dynamics, following McKinsey industry standards and getting, well, standard industry results, not excellence. And often the same recycled people and advisors in the family office community. And from my perspective, I think you're losing billions to effectively what I would define as copycat strategies. And the worst part, like you don't even know that you're trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. So I discovered, and not that long ago, I've been in this community kind of forever, but really 2 or 3 years ago, from my journey, my perspective, something that really changed everything. And that is the families that build true dynasties moving forward. They all use the same secret, first principles thinking. And even going back to the Rockefellers and other iconic families that we could surely learn from, they didn't follow others. They 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 don't ask, well, what's the best practice for this? What they did ask, and what they're asking now, the families that are building on first principles thinking, What would we build if we started from scratch today? You need to break things down to its barest essence. So there's kind of the tale, I guess you could say, of two families. Family A is going to follow more of a first principles approach, rebuilding in the example that I'm giving. Their investment committee, which should be more and more AI centric, definitely be three or under. So I'll start with that from scratch. I believe in creating custom AI due diligence systems. You get better results, better returns, and you often get decisions in hours, not months. And yes, we're actually getting really close where debating AIs, which are pretty easy to set up, can help your CIO and the family office principal make decisions literally in minutes, let alone hours or months. And typical family B, follow industry best practices, hire McKinsey or McKinsey like for industry standards, CYA, cover your ass because it's safe, and you get standard industry results. They're using the same processes that their peers are. Most family offices are very, very average. Most industries, most people, most everything falls in the middle, and you're going to miss opportunities. So the same starting point, a different approach can have radically different outcomes. And like, here's the brutal truth. You want a brutal truth? Here's the brutal truth that most consultants won't tell you. Why do even best practices exist? They exist because most advisors don't have the intellectual capability and freedom of creative thought and free will to solve unique problems from basically pretty simple standards of first principles. Because it's even easier to copy someone else's solution than to architect a custom one specific to that family. Or again, this applies to really anything. You look at people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, they're first principle masters. So what the others are, they're selling you limitations and calling it wisdom. I mean, could I prove it? This is a weird example, but to you right now, get out of the legacy thinking. In my recent, just days ago, AI Family Office Masterclass, I did something that shocks everyone. Now, we actually did it during a break. I could take a simple napkin sketch and turn it into, you are hearing this correctly, a working, effectively AI-centric application in 10 minutes. No coding, no developers, no months of deployment, while other families are still waiting for their IT department to return their call. My members, my relationships are deploying custom solutions often the same day. The technologies that are available to you now, often built around AI, LLMs, and AI agents, is utterly incredible. And it will never be worse than this very minute. Even in the 5 days ago that I started, or 6 days ago, the AI Family Office Masterclass, that was the worst it's ever been. It's better now. So I kind of look at it as you have some choices to make. Option one, keep following best practices and get the same mediocre results as the industry. Or two, learn a thing from first principles and architect advantages that others effectively can't and arguably shouldn't replicate because your situation is unique. So which family, which entity, which family office, whatever you want to put in there, do you want to be? So many of you know that I'm marching towards 100 members in SFO Continuity, my private intelligence and membership community built by and for incredible families and family offices. I also host masterclasses like my AI Family Office Masterclass, and I consult to the industry and the families. But I want to give you one thing that I think needs to be understood. I want to work with people, whether they're families or entities, that are serious about being great, about having a proprietary edge. And if you want to blend in, well, then that's just not, I'm not a good fit for you and you're not a good fit for me. I mean, Lord knows on a Saturday morning with this colorful jacket, I guess I'm not someone who's going to blend in so easy. So when you join, you don't just get training per se, you get exact systems that I use in my investments, in my family office, and significantly larger families, including even deca-billionaire families that I go back and forth on almost every week. You get to understand how to use AI, LLMs. You get to understand how to prompt. If you don't do that, you're never going to get results. You get to know that napkin trick that I described, how to do a photo of it, how to upload it, how to utilize it, and create an actual application that literally, I'm not making this up, that literally will be working in minutes using certain programs, which are very cost effective, that I'll teach you. You're going to be able to identify opportunities in the market, and you're going to be able, while your peers are analyzing antiquated one opportunity at a time, you'll do 10. You're just more likely to come across better opportunities. So imagine this. Imagine 6 months from now, you're sitting in your family office. And again, this applies to other industries with little tweaks. Your custom AI system alerts you to an opportunity that your competitors probably won't catch up to and see for weeks. Your governance structure built specifically for your family office, not a best practices of some other, makes the decision often in minutes or hours, not months. You're deploying capital while others are sitting still. They're still scheduling bad investment committee meetings. This isn't fantasy. It's first principles thinking in action, and you are likely way, way behind. So the families who already joined, who are part of my SFO continuity, that are participating in my master classes, are seeing results, I could argue practically in the moment, at least certainly in weeks if they take action, and definitely not years. So are you ready to stop copying and start creating? That's what family offices need to do more of, and it's actually not that hard. Or are you going to keep wondering what could have been? That is something that you never want to do and put yourself in position to be. Now, I promised I would come back to the masterclass, give a little bit of context behind that. Now that it's under the belt, now that there's things that I learned, there was one family there. This is like probably among the most advanced families I've ever seen. They probably could have taught the masterclass even better than me, but we each collaborated and learned so much from what was there. But putting a bow on the best practices and first principles, and then we'll come back to that and some other initiatives moving forward the upcoming week in the summer. So don't get me wrong. I think benchmarking has value. I think best practices are often better than that and has value. If most family offices aren't that good, and I get a collective of best practices and I'm following that as a framework, how could that lead to a good result for me? Like, how could that be something that is good? Like, it makes no sense. A couple of messages came in. One noted no sound. If anyone else is getting no sound, chime in and let me know. I'm looking good on my master boards here in my studio. You need to break things down into first principles and have some understanding of benchmarking and best practices to complement it. These are all going to be very important principles. At heart, and I know it's nerdy as nerdy could be, at heart, being obsessed with family offices, my core focus really is building from the ground up and practice management. Key performance indicators. What are our objectives and key results? How are we tracking that? I know it's boring. I know it's not always the most exciting things to talk about, but that's how you get off to a flying start, and that's how you enhance and improve results. You cannot improve what you can't measure. Go back to the work from mainly Peter Drucker, but certainly some others as well. So we have lots of things that we're focused on. in the family office community. As from about an hour ago, you might hear some noise in the background. Finally, my printer is printing something so randomly. Sometimes technology doesn't always work the way that you want it to work, but we are going to have to deal for maybe about one more minute with a little bit of noise there in the background. So in continuing, as I'm wrapping up, family offices need to be much, much more focused on first principles and less on best practices. And no, you're not going to get that from my experience of over 20 years in this community with what is out there now. There is practically no, it's almost zero creative thinking, very little first principles thinking. And the industry is wickedly, wickedly behind the curve in AI. So that means if you jump on board, you have the opportunity to get an early edge, which is why I said weeks ago, heading into the summer, like, what are you waiting for? This is not the time with the world the way it is now, with economic challenges, geopolitical issues, and with the relentless march. AI is not taking a day off. AI is not taking the summer off. AI is not going to the Hamptons this weekend and not doing anything. Like, you got to get to work. You got to both hedge risk and take advantage of the opportunities that are out there right now. That doesn't mean that I don't want you to enjoy your personal lives. And I know I'm Mr. Type A and aggressive here, but like, you got to put in the work. Now is the time. You could get such a massive advantage this summer, well before the summer ends. Then I'll give you a week or two to take off, maybe at the end of August, towards the end, as we then march into September and the fall. Now is the time that you need to get that edge. So yes, you should be joining my intelligence and private membership community, SFO Continuity, by going to angelorobles.com. And I'm immediately interacting. I acknowledge that you joined. We schedule a call that often is the next day. It could be an hour or two. I don't care. I want to really understand you and provide the most value. And I want to put resources, information at your fingertips and share upcoming, which is often off the grid of my website, what I'm doing on private breakfast meetings. We got a beautiful soiree at a penthouse in New York and other initiatives upcoming into later July into August. And I'm going to get to the masterclass on AI Family Office in 1 second. So there's a lot of activities that are going on now, and you need to have this edge. So I do want to come back to, many of you know, because I speak about it so much, that I hosted, and then I went quiet for a couple of days because I was immersed. I went to New York on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday were the AI Family Office Masterclass days. It was incredible. We had probably a peak 10 or 11 participants. 1 or 2 family offices brought a second person, some real, pure, incredible families, some earlier in their stage on the journey through AI, some a little bit more advanced. And like I said, one of the best I've really ever seen in terms of what they're doing. And not a surprise, because I've known the founder and the principal of the family office for over 15 years. It was his son, who's well into his 30s. So I'm not talking young, but these are the ones, the rising generation. They do understand and they get it. And you got to get them involved. And they're the ones that are going to be able to integrate AI and have far more successful results than if not. The instructors were incredible. One was, his first name is Michael. If you search hard enough, you'll find out who he is. Incredible. Like probably $1 billion principal in his own right, multiple exits as an entrepreneur, and what he's doing in AI as an investor and utilization is probably the best of any family in the US right now. And to get him to come in and teach, and for me to take a step back, zipper my mouth, not easy to do, and sit back and learn and be floored. Like, the participants in my masterclass, and I know it's not cheap, I understand that, they got 1,000x their money's worth. They literally got 7, 8 figures of value over 2 days. And of course, we enjoyed each other's company. We did a little bit of a social thing Monday night. I don't know if I want to mention it, but it was cool and fun. Hopefully, uh, I came out of it a little poorer. I'll put it that. But I had a great time, and actually, my son joined me for that too, and it was a lot of fun. So here's a couple of things I learned from the masterclass. One, many of you are far, far behind. And even the basics, the AI 101, don't be embarrassed to admit that. I started there too, probably about 2 or so years ago. It's okay. So we did get a little high flying on some of the technical stuff, probably a little too much so. So in moving forward, there are some adaptations that I'm going to be making, including to really everything: the flow, a little bit of faculty, what could be digitally pre recorded as well as live, and more work pre the event. Although I did have a survey connecting with the families and participants, doing an even deeper dive to know where they are and the value that they want to get out of it, and how I could be of value pre the event, of course, at the event with the program, and importantly, post the event. I don't just look to walk away at the end of the second day and that's it. I mean, especially if you're a member, we're intertwined for a full 12 months. And I want to make that an incredible experience. Many of you really need to understand the value of the LLMs that are out there. It is so much more than I just randomly go on OpenAI's ChatGPT. You have to understand the deep reasoning models. You have to understand where Gemini and Anthropic are likely better. And at the moment, they probably are. But ChatGPT is coming out with the 5.0 model, and you have to know the nuances to utilize deep reasoning and when not to use it. Prompting, prompting, prompting. I think it was President Abe Lincoln that said, give me an hour to cut a tree, I'm going to sharpen my axe for 59 minutes. Prompting is the outputs that you want to get are going to be important to the questions and your navigation in asking. There is such a term as prompt engineering. There are people making six figures that are a little bit philosophical in nature, that know how to think and ask questions. We have a whole prompt guy that I shared, and the brilliant billionaire that was a faculty leader and others. So we're collecting all that and resharing it, because if you get that right with knowing what platforms to use and when, that is very, very important. And know what I said earlier on best practice is in first principles thinking. I was not making that up. You could literally take a napkin, give me a pen or pencil, let me draw the vision of a workflow or the idea that I have. Now, I have better ways to do it than that, but that's dramatic. Literally image it into the technology system that I noted, which I'm going to be a little bit coy and not mention here. I'm sorry. If you were a member of the masterclass, you would have got it. It starts with a B. And boom, with no coding. Now, yes, you then have to take that, prompt it, here's what I want, and tweak it. Is it going to be awesome after 10 or 15 minutes? Probably not. But does it show you, as not being overly fluid in tech and not a coder, that, oh my God, this is out there now? And then if I take that, I massage it, I have other people look at it, I tweak it. In like 2 hours, you probably created a monster. Like everything is changing. And if you're an executive or someone that serves the community, I got you. Relax. No one is looking to replace you. I want you to care about excellence in what you do. Put aside any ignorance and any fear. That's not going to help you. Your head in the sand, being an ostrich, is not going to help you during this AI revolution. That train has left the station. It's not coming back. It will never be worse than it is today. And it's growing rapidly. Per Jensen Huang's, doubling every 6 months. That is what, per compounding, 64x, assuming we deal with the energy issue, 64x more powerful at the end of 3 years? And there is a first mover advantage. A lot of it is mindset and a lot of it is cultural as a family office. Don't think that you could sit back and wait 6 months to a year. You could. You will not be better off than you are taking action now. And part of it is going to be mindset and cultural in you and your business. This helps you. This saves you. Do I want to hire someone who has no AI fluidity or someone that does and integrates it and is able to maximize what they do? Repetitive tasks could be automated 24/7 effectively. And that allows more opportunity for deeper critical thinking and creative thinking to get the most out of you and the value that you'll provide. Like, you have to wake up to these realities. And I could teach you programs and tools where you do not have to be a coder and developer that will advance you beyond 99% of people in the world of finance and family offices. Forget 2 days. I could probably do that in 4 hours. 4 hours. Now, does that mean I'm going to do a half-day masterclass and charge a quarter as much? Probably not. Sorry. I may consider a one-day one, possibly in Aspen this summer. For some people, 2 days is a little tough. And now that I got the experience of doing it, I'm the only one in the family office world who's running with this, who's obsessed by it, who's living through it, who's implementing it and utilizing it. The only one, because this is an old, antiquated system in the family office world. And people that do have some of the technology chops, they're tied in, including their money, to legacy systems. They're I'm going to bite my tongue a little bit. Now you know why that I'm sometimes ostracized by some within the community as very much a future forward thinker, very much so. And I upset the current existing structure that I used to for 15 years kind of be a part of. Interesting how that dichotomy, if I want to call it that, kind of works. Again, I don't care about being liked. I want to provide value. And yes, I deserve to get paid for that. I am an extreme capitalist. I make no bones about that. So I learned so much. My attendees were incredible. We had a great experience. And those that execute upon the things that we spoke about, it will be hundreds to 1,000x the money that they put into it. The connections they made, the instructors they got the private connectivity to, the fellow peers that they're already collaborating on. Incredible, incredible. Are there things I would do differently? Well, I kind of hinted at that. Aspects of it might have been a little too technical. Yes, there are things I would do differently. I'm imperfect. I want to acquire skills. I want to execute on it. And then I want to iterate as I get feedback from my experiences with it and the feedback of others. I may have strong opinions, but they're loosely held. I treat it like a poker game. As new information comes in, I need to know when to fold and when to adapt. So for me, coming back home Wednesday, I ignored all social media and emails for 2 or 3 days while my notes and things were fresh in my head. That was important to me so I could crystallize them. So if you were to go to angelorobles.com now, you'll know I even updated my homepage. I updated my membership page, and you bet you, I updated my AI family office page. It's up there now. I'm actually going to I did a massive tweak to Family Office Mansion. Really, my mind was spinning with a lot of goodies. So I have decided, because yes, I'm obsessed by this. I'm living through it. I got so much new information. And what I want to do more moving forward is a little bit of that napkin story. I want more show and tell and less lecturing. I want people to interact and bring their computers. Let's do that together. You could do that napkin thing that I noted. You could learn how to use the LLMs better right there, how to prompt better right there, how to get these guides that may be worth 8 figures to you in investing that how you're understanding how to leverage this and how you could build applications, use services, including some like Zapier for kind of AI agent slate, how to tie in systems to your current fintech solutions. It's not that hard, but it's always better if you could put your hands into it and show and tell as opposed to just lecture. So if you were to go to angelorobles.com and AI Family Office Masterclass, just because you missed an incredible opportunity on June 23rd and 24th, doesn't mean it's too late. I'm going to be doing it again. I'm actually knocking the number of families down to 7, not 10. And the next time I do it, it'll probably be only 3 to 5. It's August 11th and 12th. I'm recrafting a little bit of the curriculum. I'll have some messaging going out in the next couple of days to a week. Again, this is going to be smaller and more intimate than the one I did just earlier this week. And I learned so much. Like, I just can't wait to share it, to put it to use, to have it be of value. Now, my members at SFO Continuity, they could reach out to me 24/7. I'm there with an email, a text, a phone call, and I really want to be of value and help them. And I share what I'm doing in AI from a bigger picture to investing, what I'm investing in robotics, in AI, in public and private markets. Dr. Craig Kaplan's coming up, a frequent guest that will be more of a public. So happy to share that in terms of kind of what he's looking at in investing, and I'll share some of what I do. But the architecture, the flow of the systems and the family office itself, like that's what really, really gets me going. So August 11th and 12th will be incredible. Now, yeah, the people who did June 23rd and June 24th, they got what? Like a 6 to 7 week advantage if they take actions on the things that we taught. You likely won't be able to catch up with that, but you gotta make a point to put your toe in the sand and step forward. And you could, even in August, get an edge before the end of the summer on your peers, or for some of you that more service the community, technically even your competitors, because that 2 or 3 weeks time frame does make a difference if you take actions. And then I'll probably do something towards November into December where Florida takes a big hold on me for a couple of months for pretty obvious reasons, and this jacket may fit in a little better there. So a 6 to 7 week advantage for those that take action actually is big. It doesn't mean I don't want you to enjoy the summer. I'm just saying now is the time. You have to take advantage of these opportunities that are out there to you now. Every second, every hour, every day, every week, every month, it does matter. If you're an action taker, if you're not, and you just absorb and do basic show and tell, but you don't do anything with it, then nothing matters. Keep the money in your pocket and stay home. You're going to get bulldozed by AI. You are going to lose. You will lose. For only the 1 or 2% initially that move forward, they're going to get such massive advantages, you'll never be able to play catch up. And if you're the rising generation, you understand this. If you're a young advisor, you understand it. You're more tech savvy, you're more native. You see the utilization in today's world. And who pays the consequences in the family office or the entity where you're younger and you don't have as much power and control? You're the one who pays the consequences of those actions. You got to speak up. You got to speak up for yourself that there's value here. It's worth the capital, and you need to take the initiative in it so you can make the family, the firm, the organization, whatever it might be, the best that it could possibly be. Stop trying to fight this. You will absolutely lose. You will get steamrolled, bulldozed over. I am 60 years old. I am not native and fluid with technology. I had to readapt my thinking on investments and a lot of different things over the years. Now, I do happen given my interest, of course, in chess and poker and in intellectual pursuits, putting ego aside, putting fear aside, and learning new things. Always be a lifelong learner. And that's worth paying for if you take actions on what you learned. You don't need everything to apply to you. You need the right things, then you need to leverage that and multiply it. So now is the time. This summer is it. You're stop resting. Like now is the time that you need to take these actions. And I know that I could be of massive help to you immediately. I got scheduled calls later today and tomorrow. Like I don't necessarily need to be doing this, but one, I love it. I want to provide value back to others that are paying me and that are joining as a member or masterclass participants. And I'm really enjoying the opportunity in the community where just no one, it is a big fat zero. I don't have any competitors at the moment in this. I will in time. Now, we all need a lion chasing us to become the best versions of ourselves as a human. Now, that could get into a deeper philosophical discussion about does AI inevitably, after some hurt, by the way, create a utopia? And is that necessarily good? I'm going to argue it's not. We need to always be striving. We need a lion, a tiger chasing us, a hippo. Hippo is actually a very dangerous animal, probably far more so than most lions. But you get the picture of what I mean. But that's a discussion for a different time. Right now, I want your finances to be great, your family office to be incredible. If you're in legal and accounting, your world is going to be flipped so far upside down in finance and Wall Street. It's happening right now. Do you think like everything is going to be hunky-dory for you in 3 years? And you're going to be older. You're going to be less AI savvy, and the younger people coming up that know how to use this, and there's going to be less of them needed to begin with. Like you will be toast. Let's just be honest. But I could help you. Could help. Go to angelorobles.com and learn more. Go to membership and go to AI Family Office. I know I'm not cheap. You get what you pay for. The quality of my relationships, the people that I know as what could be your peers, as deeper thought leaders, are the best in the world. I've been doing this a long time. I don't know, maybe some of them don't even like me. That's okay. We respect each other. That's what matters more. Forget about this whole thing about likability in the community and kumbaya and let's hold hands and everything's okay. It's not going to be okay. That's not the approach you have to take. You got to acquire the skills. You got to be resilient. And you got to take actions, and you better become obsessed about those things and be the best version of yourself in whatever you're doing as a principal, a rising gen, a family office executive, or someone who is of service and gratitude in the community. You could do it. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions that came in. Not really. I see one or two texts, but I'll address them. I have a pretty busy weekend, as I now told all of you. The weather's not so great, so I'm not missing much. I may shoot an outdoor video and post that. And then I have a very busy week heading into next week. Don't rest too much, everyone. This is an exciting and slightly scary time to be alive. You got to grab this opportunity. You got to carpe diem. Don't let it slip by you. I'm Angelo Robles. Go to angelorobles.com and learn more. Thank you.